In today's video, we're gonna discuss a case of a game developer who has been working on his game for more than 3.5 years to find out later after he randomly received an email that his game has been retired with a generic "your game contains AI" response. So today we're gonna discuss what is going on with game developers and Steam banning their games, and why Steam themselves are lost in this mess, and the fact that they don't know what to do with it. So the OP went on saying, about 3 to 4 months ago, I decided to include an optional ChatGPT mod in the playtest build of my game, which will allow players to replace the dialogue of NPCs with responses from the ChatGPT API. This mod was entirely optional and not required for gameplay, not even meant to be part of it, just a fun experiment. It was just a toggle in the settings and even required the playtester to use their own OpenAI API key to access it. Fast forward to about a month ago, when I submitted my game for early access review, Steam decided that the game required an additional review by their team and asked for details around the AI. I explained exactly how this worked and that there were no AI content directly in the build, and even since then issued a new build without this mod ability just to be super safe. However, for almost 1 month, they said basically nothing. They refused to give estimates of how long this review would take, what progress they have made, or didn't even ask any follow-up questions or try to have a conversation with me. This time alone was super stressful, as I had no idea what to expect. Then today, I randomly received an email that my app has been retired with a generic "your game contains AI" response. I'm in absolute shock. I spent years working on this, sacrificing money, time with family and friends, pouring my heart and soul into the game, only to be told through a short email, "Sorry, we are retiring your app." In fact, the first way I learned about it was through a fan who messaged me on Discord saying or asking why my game has been retired. The whole time since I put up my Steam page at least a couple of years ago, I've been redirecting people directly to Steam to wishlist it. The words from Chris Zukotsky ring in my ears: don't set up a website, just link straight to your Steam page for easier wishlisting. Steam owns like 75% of the desktop market. Without them, there is no way I can successfully release the game. Not to mention, the most of my audience is probably in wishlists, which has been my #1 link on all of my socials this whole time. The entire experience, the way that they made this decision, and the way their support has been treating me has just felt completely inhumane and like there is nothing I can do, despite this feeling incredibly unjust. Even the last email they sent, there was no mention that I could try to appeal the decision. Just, yeah, this is over, but you can have your app credit back. So as you can see guys, this is a real problem for some game developers who started using AI in their video games, whether it be for creating something simple like posters or designing in-game backgrounds, characters, sprites, and so on. But the thing is, Steam is not dropping the hammer on everyone equally, as it was highlighted by this user, and he went on saying, "What doesn't make sense about this is the inconsistency. There are many game developers who admitted to using AI-generated art. For example, High on Life used Midjourney for its in-game posters, and also the game Firmament, who got stuck in an AI controversy a while back. But the thing is, these games are not dealt with equally. So is Valve now going to remove these games off the store? That would be a massive deal for High on Life to just get banned. So I guess it is easier to just deny/ban small game developers. There is an AI chatbot game on the store right now, called In-World Origins. Why isn't that banned? Which is a good question. As you can see, not everything is black and white, and it seems like Steam is not really being 100% fair when dealing with game developers and their video games. This is not, I would say, because they are purposefully trying to sabotage some game developers and not others, but I would say it is the case because they themselves are not so sure what to do about it, and probably they are trying to test their policies with small game developers to see what is gonna happen maybe? I don't know. As one comment said, Valve rejected games for simply using AI. It seems they are just unsure of the technology right now. It's unfortunate that this happened, but you really should have been more careful and done more research. Talking about the developer of this video game. Delete the mod permanently. Remove all the capabilities of your game being able to use the mod, and then contact Steam in a month or two. You could also just submit your game to other platforms such as GOG, Epic Store, etc. I actually agree with what this guy was saying. Since this AI thing is new and controversial, I would say stay away from it right now, especially knowing that it is uncharted territory and the gatekeepers like Steam can change their policies at any given moment, which can screw up your projects. I'm not saying you should use or shouldn't use AI. What I'm saying is you have to be smart enough not to risk everything on something that could be easily avoided. Talking about the Steam policy about rejecting games, they actually responded to the claims of banning games that have AI art, basically saying they are just following what the law allows them to do. For example, Valve responded to Eurogame saying, "We know it is a constantly evolving tech, and our goal is not to discourage the use of it on Steam. Instead, we're working through how to integrate it into our already existing review policies. Stated plainly, our review process is a reflection of our current copyright law and policies, not an added layer of our opinion. And these laws and policies evolve over time, so will our process." I would add, actually many game developers went through this in the last year or so since AI began becoming a real thing. For example, the experience of this game developer that gave us an example of how this process went, and he went on saying, "Okay, so listen to me. We went through exactly your experience. Our game was one of the first hit with those messages, at the time when no one thought they were real or that they were for really bad cases. You can look in my history if you want to verify. And here is how we went for us. Image-based puzzle game with images sourced from AIs and modified by us. Submission, long delay, and original, now known to be pre-written message. Next we have recreation of all the art on an AI trained on public data only, again with modifications. Now here is the key part. There is a second long delay and second pre-written reply and retiring our app. And this is what happened to the OP of the story. Next, us reaching out to know if we purged all AI images from our game and we could be unretired, so there is hope. Next there is delay and non-committal reply written by a person that they may unretire it then. After that, there is gathering of public domain images and modification of those as puzzles and remessaging them. So after developer messaged Steam, there was a delay, then them asking if we submitted a new build. The backend clearly showed we did, minutes before reaching out. After that we replied yes. Then they replied rather quick that they would submit it to their review team. After that there was a delay, then an OK, then the app was unretired. So as you can see, this is not the end. And video games published on Steam can be unretired if you follow certain steps and have the right patience, because this can take up to months, which is a long time. He continues, "This has caused panic in our established fanbase, and reviewers, they had checked our games, tanked our wishlist, and completely soured up on the pretty good experience with the Steam team, especially since we met the requirement of the first message, but the second message and retiring was still done, blindly, a month later. They kept mentioning AI text, even though our game pretty much only has UI text and it was confusing us at the time, but we found out later they were for messages. All of that to say, relax, ask for your game to be unretired, say it has no AI in it, and if you push it kindly, after a few months, no kidding, it should be back." So as you can see guys, game development, AI and Steam don't go hand in hand. So if you're thinking about using AI in your video game that you're gonna publish on Steam, this is a bad idea. A very bad one, I might add. So guys, if you found this formula of videos interesting and informative, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, you can subscribe if you are new and check our previous videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.